The dialogue between Yaksha and Yudhishthira. The Pandavas were roaming in the forest during their 13-year exile. Then they once looked for water to quench their thirst. The responsibility of managing water was first handed over to Sahadeva. He saw a reservoir nearby. He reached there to get water from it. The invisible Yaksha, the owner of the reservoir, stopped them through Akashvani and put a condition to answer some questions first. Ignoring the Yaksha, Sahadeva started taking water from the reservoir. Then the Yaksha made Sahadeva lifeless. When Sahadeva did not return, Nakula, Arjuna, and then Bhima respectively took up the responsibility of bringing water. They reached the same reservoir and became lifeless for disobeying the conditions of the Yaksha. In the end, worried Yudhishthira himself reached the reservoir. The invisible Yaksha appeared and warned him and asked him to answer his questions. Yudhishthira showed patience. He not only listened carefully to all the questions of the Yaksha but also gave their logical answers, hearing which the Yaksha was satisfied. After being satisfied, what did the Yaksha do and what were those questions? The Yaksha asked, who makes the sun rise, who walks around it, who sets him, and in what sun is established? Yudhishthira replied, O Yaksha, Brahma makes the sun rise, the gods walk around it, Dharma sets him down, and he is established in truth. The Yaksha again asked, how does a man become a listener? Who gets a position of Mahat? By whom does he become Brahmarup, and by whom does he become wise? Yudhishthira's reply was, man becomes listener through hearing, he receives greatness from memory, through penance he becomes second, and by the service of the Gurus he becomes wise. The next question of the Yaksha was, what is the divinity among Brahmins? What is a saint like religion in them? What is the human spirit, and what is the behavior of unscrupulous man? In response to these questions, Yudhishthira said, the self study of the Vedas is the divinity among the Brahmins. Their austerity is the same religion as the good man. Death is a human emotion, and blasphemy is the behavior of unscrupulous men. The Yaksha again asked, which one thing is sacrificial material? Which one thing is a sacrificial yajuhu? Which one thing chooses a sacrifice, and which one does not violate the sacrifice? Yudhishthira said, life is a sacrificial material. Our mind is an object of sacrifice. Only one rig chooses to perform yajna, and only one rig doesn't transcend the yajna. Yaksha question, who am I? Yudhishthira answer, you are neither this body, nor the senses, nor the mind, nor the intellect. You are pure consciousness, the consciousness that is omniscient. Yaksha questions, what is the purpose of life? Yudhishthira answered, the purpose of life is to know that consciousness that is free from the bondage of birth and death, knowing it is salvation. Yaksha question, what is the cause of birth? Yudhishthira answer, unsatisfied desires and results of actions are the cause of birth. Yaksha question, who is free from the bondage of birth and death? Yudhishthira answer, one who has come to know himself and the soul is free from the bondage of birth and death. Yaksha question, what is the relation between lust and birth? Yudhishthira answer, as the desires, so are the births. If the desires are like that of an animal, then birth as an animal. If the desires are like human, then birth is as human. Yaksha question, why is the reason for sorrow in the world? Yudhishthira answered, greed, selfishness, and fear are the causes of the suffering of the world. Yaksha questioned, then why did God create sorrow? Yudhishthira answered, God created the world and man created sorrow and happiness by his thoughts and deeds. Yaksha questioned, is there a God? Who is that? Is she a woman or a man? Yudhishthira answered, no action is without cause. This world is the proof of the existence of that cause. That's why you are there. That great reason has been called God in spirituality. It is neither a woman nor a man. Yaksha questioned, what is the form of God? Yudhishthira answered, God is Satchit Anand and is the formless, one who expresses himself in all forms. Yaksha questioned, what does that amorphous, formless himself do? Yudhishthira, that God creates, maintains, and destroys the world. Yaksha questioned, if God created the world, then who created God? Yudhishthira answered, he is the unborn, nectar, and without cause. Yaksha questioned, what is fate? Yudhishthira answered, every action, every work has a result. The result can be good, it can be bad. This result is luck. Today's effort is tomorrow's luck. Yaksha questioned, what is the secret of happiness and peace? Yudhishthira answered, truth, virtue, love, and forgiveness are the causes of happiness. Renunciation of untruth, incest, hatred, and anger is the way to peace. Yaksha questioned, how is it possible to control the mind? Yudhishthira answered, desires create agitation in the mind. Victory over desires is victory over mind. Yaksha questioned, what is true love? Yudhishthira answered, to see oneself in all is true love. True love is to see oneself as omnipresent. True love is to see oneself as one with all. Yaksha questioned, then why does man not love everyone? Yudhishthira answered, one who cannot see himself in all cannot love all. Yaksha questioned, what is attachment? Yudhishthira answered, in love there is demand, expectation, possession, and attachment. Yaksha questioned, what is intoxication? Yudhishthira answered, attachment. Yaksha questioned, what is liberation? Yudhishthira, liberation is only non-attachment, opposite of attachment. Yaksha questioned, who is intelligent? Yudhishthira answered, one who has a conscience. Yaksha questioned, who is the thief? Yudhishthira answered, attractions of the senses, those who take away the senses are thieves. Yaksha questioned, who is hell? Yudhishthira answered, the slavery of the senses is hell. Yaksha questioned, who is asleep even while awake? Yudhishthira, one who doesn't know the soul is asleep even when he is awake. Yaksha questioned, what is temporary like water lying in a lotus leaf? Yudhishthira, youth, wealth, and life. Yaksha, what is the cause of misfortune? Yudhishthira, pride and ego. Yaksha, what is the cause of good luck? Yudhishthira, satsang and friendship towards all. Yaksha, who can destroy all sorrows? Yudhishthira, one who is ready to give up everything. Yaksha question, who tortures till death? Yudhishthira, a crime committed in secret. Yaksha, what should be considered day and night? Yudhishthira, of the fleetingness of worldly pleasures. Yaksha, who conquers the world? Yudhishthira, one who has truth and faith. Yaksha, how it is possible to get rid of fear? Yudhishthira with dispassion. Yaksha, who is free? Yudhishthira, one who is beyond ignorance. Yaksha, what is ignorance? Yudhishthira, ignorance is the absence of self knowledge. Yaksha, who is free from sorrows? Yudhishthira, one who never gets angry. Yaksha, what is that which exists or may not exist? Yudhishthira, Maya. Yaksha, what is Maya? Yudhishthira, the mortal world with name and form. Yaksha, what is the ultimate truth? Yudhishthira, Brahma. Yaksha, by whose command does the sun rise? Yudhishthira, by the command of the Supreme Soul, Brahma. Yaksha, on what does one's being a Brahmin depend? On his birth or on his modesty? Yudhishthira, Brahminhood is not attained because of clan or education. Brahminism is dependent on modesty and nature. One who doesn't have modesty cannot be a Brahmin. One who has bad addictions, no matter how educated he may be, is not a Brahmin. Yaksha, who supports man? Yudhishthira, patience is the companion of man. Yaksha, the Yaksha asked Yudhishthira what is called stability, what is patience, what is bathing, and what is the real meaning of charity. Yudhishthira, stability is one's religion is stability, controlling your senses is patience, to renounce manomalinya is bathing, and the feeling of protecting mere beings is actually a charity. Yaksha, which scripture is studied by which a man becomes intelligent? Yudhishthira, there is no such scripture. Man becomes wise only by the company of great people. Yaksha, what is heavier than the earth? Yudhishthira, the mother who holds the child in the womb is heavier than the land. Yaksha, who is higher than the sky? Yudhishthira, father. Yaksha, who is faster than the wind? Yudhishthira, mind. Yaksha, who is lesser than grass? Yudhishthira, anxiety. Yaksha, who is the companion of a person travelling to foreign? Yudhishthira, Vidya. Yaksha, who is the companion of the one who lives in the house? Yudhishthira, wife. Yaksha, who is the friend of a dying old man? Yudhishthira, donation because it walks with the living being alone after death. Yaksha, which is the largest, the pots? Yudhishthira, land is the biggest vessel in which everything can be contained. Yaksha, what is happiness? Yudhishthira, happiness is that which is based on modesty and honesty. Yaksha, when a person should leave behind to become dear to everyone. Yudhishthira, when egoism is released, a person becomes all loving. Yaksha, when something is lost, there is sorrow. Yudhishthira, anger. Yaksha, by losing what does a man become rich? Yudhishthira, by losing greed. Yaksha, what is the biggest wonder in the world? Yudhishthira, seeing how many creatures die in front of their eyes every day. Human beings still dream of immortality. There is a great surprise. Yaksha, who is blissful or happy? Yudhishthira, O Chara, Yakshas who live in the reservoir, the person who eats cooked vegetables in his house on the fifth, sixth day, on whom there is no debt and who doesn't have to live in foreign countries. He is the same. Modit is happy. If we don't give importance to Yudhishthira's literal answer and pay attention to its meaning, then the meaning of this statement is that one who is able to contend with limited resources while living in the midst of his family is really happy. Yaksha question, what is the wonder of this creation? Yudhishthira, here the living beings depart from this world to Yamloka every day, that is, the death of all is seen by one. Yet those who remain here hope to stay here forever. What could be a bigger surprise than that? The meaning is that the death of whoever is born is inevitable and everyone should be present for the realization of the death. But every person is lost in the business of life in such a way that death will not make him his grasp. Yaksha, which is the right way to live life? Yudhishthira, there is no well established logic to determine the real way of life. Shrutis, Shastras, and other sources also talk of different type. There is no such sage thinker whose words can be called proof. In fact, the essence of religion is hidden in the cave, that is, it is very esoteric. In such a situation, the path adopted by a respected person in society is exemplary. Talks are often made of following the path shown by big people. Here, a person of eminence, of greatness, doesn't mean one who has acquired wealth or who has advanced greatly commercially or who is endowed with administrative or other authority, etc. Distinguished is one who is of character, doesn't neglect duties, is sensitive to others, is devoted to the interest of the society, etc. Yaksha, what is an interesting talk? Yudhishthira, Kal is cooking the living beings, turning the months and seasons in majestic cauldron in the form of the ocean, which is heated by the fire of the sun and the fuel of night and day. This is the main talk. In this statement, there is mention of a serious philosophy of life, along with the night, day, and month seasons. There is a continuous period of upheaval in the life of the animal kingdom. Creatures are like the food being cooked by Kal's hand, which have to be absorbed in the cheeks of Kal one day or the other. This is the latest news every day. In this way, the Yaksha asked Yudhishthira many more questions, and Yudhishthira gave proper answers to all those questions. Pleased with this, the Yaksha said, O Yudhishthira, you are the knower of all the meanings of religion. I am satisfied with your answers. So I give life to one of your brother. Tell which brother of yours should I bring alive? Yudhishthira said, You bring Nakula back to life. On this, the Yaksha said, Yudhishthira, why didn't you ask for the life of Mahabali Bhima or Trilok victorious Arjuna instead of asking for Nakula to be alive? Yudhishthira answered Yaksha's question in this way, O Yaksha, Dharmatma Pandu had two queens, Kunti and Madhuri. Kunti was the mother of Mary, Bhima, and Arjuna, and Madhvi is the mother of Nakul and Sahadeva. Therefore, while I am Kunti's son and I am alive, Mother Madhuri's one son Nakula must also survive. That is why I have asked for Nakul's life donation. Hearing the word of Yudhishthira, the Yaksha was pleased and said, O Vatsa, I am very pleased with your thoughts, so I bring to the life of all your brothers. In fact, I am your father, Dharma, and came here to test you. After saying this, all the Pandavas got up as if they had woken up from a deep sleep. Yudhishthira touched the feet of his father, Dharma, and took his blessings. Then Dharma said, I am very pleased with you, so ask me for a boon as per your wish. Yudhishthira said, O Tat, our 12 years of exile is coming to an end, and now we are going to go into exile for 1 year. Therefore, you give this boon that no one can recognize us in that unknown abode. At the same time, give me this boon that my attitude should always be in you, that is religion. Dharma disappeared from there by giving Yudhishthira both his desired boons.